Hello, welcome back to the second part of our money management tour, where we will continue on where we left off in the first part by covering worksheets 4 to 6, which aids in your learning to have a better control over your finances. They include crafting your monthly income and expense statement, building up your savings action plan, and creating your very own monthly budget. Do have your personal budgeting handbook with you to allow yourself to better follow up with the lesson. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it. As you recall back onto worksheet 3, which you have completed earlier, you will now apply it onto worksheet 4. The main objective here is to summarize what you have included on worksheet 3 to better gauge your monthly expenses. To start off, simply state your monthly income as initially stated in worksheet 1 under the fourth column, and tally out the subtotal right here. As you move along, you will notice that the expenses are split into two sections: fixed expenses and variable expenses. To allow you to gain a better understanding of what this means, allow us to briefly explain it. Fixed expenses are expenses that you pay which are constant despite any changes in your income, whereas variable expenses are expenses that can change or vary as your income changes along the time period. For example, loan repayments are amounts that are fixed to be payable each month, should it be a monthly basis, even if your income increases or decreases. Yet, should your income fall, it is likely that you will spend less on food, as there is a need to conserve money, thus making it a variable expense. With a better understanding of what fixed and variable expenses are, do summarize any expenses you have incurred under the various expense types as written on worksheet 3, but on a monthly basis. Do also allocate it based on the need and one basis, and tally up the sum under the subtotal heading. For expenses that are incurred annually, you can simply divide it by 12 to attain a monthly value. After doing so, kindly take some time to compute the final value on your monthly income and expense statement by taking your monthly income subtotal to subtract off the subtotal of both fixed and variable expenses, and indicate the value right here. Here is a quick example of my personal monthly income and expense statement. As you can see, my only source of income is the allowance I get from my parents. Moving on to the various expenses, I have a monthly loan repayment of $100 as my fixed expense, which is a need. It being the repayment of my laptop for school usage, which is an essential. Following on, stating the amount I spend on food and other variable expenses and categorizing them into a need and one expenditure. Finally, tallying up the sum and computing my final net position. If your statement shows a net income position where it is a surplus, a positive number, you should continue your current behavior on managing your personal finances to improve your net assets position. However, if your statement shows a net expense position where it is a deficit, a negative number, this shows that you are spending beyond your budget, which will lead into borrowing and reducing your net assets position. As you ponder upon your final net position, you can also search up the link given on your handbook to gain a further understanding of your net position. Do not fear should the value be far off your imagination, as the guidance on the next worksheet will allow you to prepare a saving action plan to shift or improve your current net position. So, stay tuned for that.
Next up, to meet your goals, you must have plans. In Worksheet 5, you will have to come up with savings action plans to better manage those ones that you have identified in Worksheet 3 and improve your financial position. Firstly, you can start off by asking yourself which expense category in Worksheet 4 you feel you might have overspent or can cut down on, especially areas where you might have spent on wants and neglected certain needs. Apart from your expenses, also identify opportunities which you could make use of your free time to earn additional income. After you have thought through, you could fill the categories which you have identified in column 1. Following, you can come up with an idea of what you want to cut down on, stop, or even start doing for each identified category. You can list down the steps that you will put into action to help you succeed in your plan. Try to be as specific as possible for your ideas and action plans of your income or expense categories to ensure you stay on track, be aware of what to watch out for, and follow the plans diligently. An example for the telecommunication expense category would be to reduce the amount spent on prepaid cards every month or avoid additional data charges if you are on a postpaid plan. Possible actions in this case would be using Wi-Fi when available, monitoring your daily data usage, or even setting up daily data limits so as to help you have a better control of your usage. After putting so much thought into your plans, you will need to tie a start date to them. Include a date in the by when column to indicate the latest you will start on the plans, and let it serve as a reminder to start on them as soon as possible and not drag your savings plan. The earlier you start, the more you will save over a longer time span as your savings accumulate and you will see the result. For the last column, consider an estimation of the additional savings per month that your action plan will contribute to your monthly budget, which will be computed in Worksheet 6. For example, if you plan to cut down on phone card support, it will probably help you save about $10 to $15 a month. You can even decide to make use of your skills such as handcrafting to earn a small side income, and just estimate your sales to include as additional savings. Remember not to be too ambitious for a start, and do not be afraid if just a small sum like $10 to $20. Every bit counts. This applies especially for your expenses, as you might find yourself eventually struggling and giving in, just spending more. You could refer to Appendix B of the handbook for saving and investing tips. Lastly, just add up all the additional savings per month for each plan to get a total in the last row of this worksheet, as seen in this example. This shows an estimate of what you'll be gaining from these plans. Sounds great, isn't it? Then remember to remain focused. Keep in mind to be as detailed in planning and giving more thought into areas to cut down your unnecessary expenses so as to prepare a more accurate money budget in Worksheet 6. Have fun planning!
Finally, it is time to develop your monthly budget in this Worksheet 6, which is an important step in fulfilling the financial goals you want to achieve. A budget is a spending plan allocating specific amounts for different spending needs before the start of the month, and to also monitor your actual expenses as you spend. To start off, we'll first focus on monthly income expense column. Simply refer back to Worksheet 4 to list down what you have written. The purpose of doing so is to highlight the importance and effect of the savings action plan listed out in Worksheet 5 as you compare between Worksheet 4 and your revised budget. Do you also recall the money savings required that you have calculated for your SMART financial goals in Worksheet 1? We will now be taking into account the planned savings by indicating it in the savings row under fixed expenses of both columns. An example of mine will be $164.48. You can now calculate the surplus or deficit for the monthly income expense column with the savings component incorporated. This will lead to a reduction of your net financial position. This shows it is important to leave some money for your planned savings to achieve your goals. You can find out more by watching this video about Pay Yourself First in your handbook. Moving on, we'll now focus on the revised budget column. We'll be incorporating the estimated additional amount you can save for the categories you have identified in Worksheet 5. It can be done by taking the total amount for the income or expense category stated in Worksheet 4 as a guideline to subtract the estimated amount you can save or add on in case of an income. This will result in the revised budget for each of your income and expense components. For those that were not affected by Worksheet 5, just simply carry over the same amount from the monthly income and expense column to their respective blanks. Allow me to show you the calculations based on my example here. Under the expense category of leisure and entertainment, the amount I was spending as stated in Worksheet 4 was $99. Taking into account my action plans, I believe I am able to save $6 in this category. Hence, in my revised budget under leisure and entertainment, it will be recorded as $93. After calculating your income and expenses, if you have a significant surplus, it's an opportunity for you to pay off your debts or add on to your savings. However, a deficit will require appropriate adjustments to turn your deficit into a surplus, as such deficit in your budget may result in a financial failure. Some adjustments could be extending your time period to achieve your goals or reviewing Worksheet 5 to check for more opportunities to increase income or reduce expenses. Do also consistently monitor your budget as it shows your savings progress in achieving your goals. Adjust your budget accordingly to any changes in your income or expenses, such as getting a pay rise or a pay cut, to make it relevant to your current financial situation. Remember to only make changes once you are certain. And yes, that concludes our second session of money management. As we do know, working out all the worksheets that were covered in this session may be tedious, but we hope you have a better idea of the process of planning, which will help you to manage your finances in the long run. If you are uncertain of any steps that we have run through in the worksheets, do not hesitate to check with us. We look forward to our next interaction session where we will further guide you through the worksheets. Thank you.